I want to start off today introducing this channel. Now, what I'm going to be doing on this channel is reading some different stories and maybe a bit of poetry and trying to keep it in a light-hearted mood. The first book I'm looking at today, I've got this one here, Political Correctness, Bedtime Stories. Now, the story that I'm going to be reading out of here today is about Little Red Riding Hood. So, here goes. There was once a young person named Red Riding Hood who lived with her mother on the edge of a large wood. One day her mother asked her to take a fresh basket of fruit and mineral water to her grandmother's house. Not because this was woman's work, mind you, but because the deed was generous in helping engender a feeling of community. Furthermore, her grandmother was not sick, but was rather in full physical and mental health, and was fully capable of taking care of herself as a mature adult. So Red Riding Hood set off with her basket through the woods. Many people believed that the forest was a foreboding and dangerous place, and had never set foot in it. Red Riding Hood, however, was confident in her own budding sexuality, that such obvious Freudian imagery did not intimidate her. On the way to Grandma's house, Red Riding Hood was accosted by a wolf, who asked what was in her basket. She replied, "Some healthful snacks for my grandmother, who is certainly capable of taking care of herself as a mature adult." The wolf said, "You know, my dear, it isn't safe for a little girl to walk through these woods alone." Red Riding Hood said, "I find your sexist remark offensive in the extreme, but I will ignore it because of your traditional status as an outcast from society, the stress of which has caused you to develop your own entirely valid worldview. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must be on my way." Red Riding Hood walked along the main path, but because his status outside society had freed him from slavish adherence to linear, Western-style thought, the wolf knew a quicker route to Grandma's house. He burst into the house and ate Grandma, an entirely valid course of action for a carnivore such as himself. Then, unhampered by rigid, traditionalist notions of what was masculine or feminine, he put on Grandma's nightclothes and crawled into bed. Red Riding Hood entered the cottage and said, "Grandma, I have brought you some fat-free, sodium-free snacks to salute you in your role of a wise and nurturing matriarch." From the bed, the wolf said softly, "Come closer, child, so that I might see you." Red Riding Hood said, "Oh, I forgot you're as optically challenged as a bat. Grandma, what big eyes you have." "They have seen much and forgiven much, my dear." "Grandma, what a big nose you have." "Only relatively, of course, and certainly attractive in its own way." "It has smelled so much and forgiven so much, my dear." "Grandma, what big teeth you have." The wolf said, "I am happy with who I am and what I am," and leapt out of bed. He grabbed Red Riding Hood in his claws, intent on devouring her. Red Riding Hood screamed, not out of alarm at the wolf's apparent tendency towards cross-dressing, but because of his willful invasion of her personal space. Her screams were heard by a passing woodcutter person, a log fuel technician as he preferred to be called, and when he burst into the cottage, he saw the melee and tried to intervene. But as he raised his axe, Red Riding Hood and the wolf both stopped. "And what do you think you are doing?" asked Red Riding Hood. The woodcutter person blinked and tried to answer, but no words came to him. "Bursting in here like a Neanderthal, trusting your weapon to do your thinking for you," she exclaimed. "Sexist, speciesist, how dare you assume that women and wolves can't solve their own problems without a man's help?" When she heard Red Riding Hood's impassioned speech, Grandma jumped out of the wolf's mouth, seized the woodcutter person's axe, and cut his head off. After this ordeal, Red Riding Hood, Grandma, and the wolf felt a certain commonality of purpose. They decided to set up an alternative household based on mutual respect and cooperation, and they lived together in the woods, happily ever after. So there you go. That's keeping it nice and politically correct. Thank you if you've dropped by. I look forward to seeing you again. There'll be another one of these just round the corner in another video, and I'll talk to you all soon. Okay, bye-bye.